ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुक्तापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सह गणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां भावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So welcome everyone to IBC Siksha. We'll be continuing with 16th chapter, 8th verse. So in this 16th chapter, okay, just let me open the PPT. Yeah, 16th chapter we are reading the divine and demoniac qualities, of which last time we finished the divine qualities. So in the 15th chapter, Krishna explains that there is a inverted tree, right? There's an inverted tree, and the branches and the trees, leaves and all that. Those are the Vedic trees, and here one enjoys material happiness. One moves from one branch to another. Now, as one increases the mode of goodness, they reach to the root of the tree where Lord Brahma is, and from there they can reach the eternal tree. Hmm? They can reach the eternal place where eternal relationships are there. There is no duality. So we first went through a list of divine qualities, and these are the divine qualities we discussed. And let's go forward a bit. Yeah. So after discussing, we discussed the demoniac quality also: pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, ignorance. Okay. Now Arjuna had a doubt that whether he had those demoniac qualities. Krishna says no, because Arjuna is very thoughtful person. Before the war, he's thinking, whether it is beneficial or not. So such thoughtful person are not in mode of passion. Passion means without much thinking or without much thoughtfulness. There may be some thinking, but the thoughtfulness is something like wise. It's a wise thoughtfulness, whether this is good or not. That kind of thinking brings it to mode of goodness. Then we read, what are the demoniac nature, and we are continuing with that. We read, those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done, what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. So they don't know what is to be done, and they don't know what is not to be done. So these are the demoniac qualities, and then we go further into it. They say that this world is unreal without any with no foundation, no god in control. They say it is produced of sex, desire, and no other cause other than lust. That means we are, this world is to enjoy, and you take birth and then die and then done. In between you have to just enjoy, and after that everything becomes zero. No karma, nothing. So that is their understanding. So this is how demonic people they think. The demonic conclude that the world is phantasmagoria. There is no cause, effect, no controller, no purpose. Everything is unreal. See, sometimes scientists also say that this world is without God, without foundation, right? And then materialistic say it is produced of sex, desire. It's just we have to just enjoy. We have to live life once, right? We have to live once, so we should just enjoy. Why we should worry and all that? There was a there is a famous atheist in London. So he wanted to put some advertisement on the buses. So he fought for a few years and he got the right to put advertisements on buses. And you know what he wrote? He wrote, "There is no God. Do not worry. Enjoy." So this is what he wrote in the advertisements on the buses. So this is how they think. Now, interestingly, anything in this world, the first thing, if we see anything, like if you see a car, what thought comes into your mind when you see a car, or when you see a painting? What thought comes into your mind?
We see the first how the painting is, that is
How beautiful it
how
is, or
beautiful
how
Yes,
the
how
scenic
beautiful it
building,
is, and
how,
appearance,
what are
Prabhuji,
the colors
appearance.
that they have used,
okay,
what are the colors, and how about the artist also.
yes. We immediately ask who is the artist. If we like something, we ask who is the artist. When we see a good car, we say what who manufactured it, which company,
What brand it is?
what
Yes.
brand it is, right? But when we
Correct.
see this world, do we ask this question what brand it is, who made
No,
this
no,
No,
beautiful
no,
flower smelling, who made humans, who made us? Do we ask these questions? No, right?
no, Prabhuji.
So when we ask this question, it is a start of spirituality. And the materialistic, right, they don't even try to ask this question. They say, what to do with this question? We are living, right? Just enjoy, na. One life is there, just enjoy, right? Who has seen the future? Who has seen after death? All this is just stories. So like this they think. Okay. They don't know about. Okay, we'll just go through some purports. Hmm? They think there is no existence of soul.
mm,
They don't know about matter and spirit. For them, it is like, body is changing, it is changing, and that's it. We die and there's nothing. Life is just a dream, meaning it has some existence, and in that you just enjoy. That's it. After death, then nothing, no karma, nothing, nothing, nothing. So we are just there to enjoy. That's it. There is no superior controller. There is no controller. There are laws like this law of gravity, law of thermodynamics. There are laws, but no lawmaker. Nobody made it. It is just there. Just work within it or break it. One set of atheists say we have to work within it. One set of say forget it. We don't even have to worry about it. Just break it. No standard understanding of scriptures. So they reject the scriptures. They reject the scriptures. In the next 10 verses, 9 to 18, Krishna explains how the abominable activities performed by those possessing this philosophy and mentality. So if they have this attitude, what they do? What they do? Okay. Following such conclusion, the demoniac who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Horrible works meant to destroy the. What kind of do they do? Um, Destructive. Can you tell me any example of destructive work by demons?
Atom bombs, Prabhuji. Atom bombs, all
It
these
is the energy
missiles.
which ultimately they decided to put on other people. Yeah, 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 yeah. It is destructive.
Missiles, atom
as
bombs.
of now the example is Ukraine and Russia.
Yes, yes. And Ugra Karma, which is painful, horrible, destructive acts. Trying to enjoy sense gratification, they engage in materialistic inventions only to result in violence, cruelty to other living entities. That is nuclear bomb. That's there. Two examples like animal killings and nuclear weapons. Animal killing. Can you think animal killing as ugra karma, which is painful, horrible? How do you think?
Yes.
Yes,
It's
Prabhuji.
painful.
Yes,
How?
it is very.
See, in
Prabhuji,
Vedic
it
times
has
also there was animal killing. In the Vedic time also, people used to
but
eat. Some sect used to eat meat. What is that difference compared to today's difference?
Prabhuji, they used to do some Vedic hymns and all those things so that they get the new life. But in
Okay,
this, they don't do anything. They just wanted to eat. They wanted to cut and eat. That's it.
okay, and
So
and
without any
what more
Vedic
do you
hymns
think?
and
What more do you think?
Prabhuji, in those, when the animals they used to sacrifice, uh, it would get immediate, like they
Yeah,
used
yeah,
to
yeah. I'll tell you about it.
chant
that is what
mantras.
I told. I told
They
you.
used
So
to
yeah,
chant
so in the
mantras.
Vedic times, na, animal killing is not animal sacrifice. Okay,
It's
Hmm.
killing.
animal killing is different. Animal sacrifice is different. In the
Okay.
Vedic times, animal sacrifice, I'll explain. First is old animal, and sometimes a goat or something which is in lower mode of ignorance, and they animal used to be killed after doing that yajna. Okay,
Mm.
Hmm. Yes,
and
Prabhuji.
then in front of everyone's eyes, the animal would get a new body.
Another
Mm.
body. Yes.
In front of everyone's eyes, which doesn't happen today. So
Hmm.
therefore, in Kali Yuga, na, this animal killing is animal sacrifice. Sorry, animal sacrifice is not allowed only. There are four things not allowed:
Hmm.
animal sacrifice, sannyas, begetting a child in brother's wife, and one more thing. These four things are not allowed in Kali Yuga.
Prabhuji, I have a question. So
Yeah.
you told that animal sacrifice means in front of us only animal will get new life. So that animal won't have parents, or that if they take human form, they won't have parents.
No, no. New body means it will take new animal body, or it can go into next life, something like that.
So then, how can we see what the I mean, like that animal got next
No, no. In
higher
front of everyone's
life?
eyes, the animal will get a new body.
So can you explain a bit more, Prabhuji?
Meaning, see, the sacrifice is successful or not. The test was to kill an animal, and in
Okay.
front of everyone, that animal is like an old body. It will get a new body, new animal body. That's it.
But it will
How
get
to?
body or it will get human body also.
I have not read about it exactly, but it is new body is what they get. Not human, but new body. And I think probably animal body only they'll get.
Mm.
So we'll go in that section of Bhagavatam where Prabhupada explains. Let me just show you. Hmm. Okay. 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 Narad Muni wanted to draw. Okay. It is said in Shastras by killing animals in sacrifice one immediately promotes them to human birth.
Mm.
Yeah. So they'll get a human body.
Okay.
So will they be like Draupadi, Prabhuji,
No, no, no.
without
Draupadi is
parents?
different. Draupadi is different. Draupadi is
Okay.
different. Draupadi was from the heavenly planet, and Draupadi and her brother were gifted by the demigods to Drupada.
Okay. So won't they have parents, Prabhuji? If some animal takes human birth via yajna, so how will they be? I mean, I still
There will be a
So
have
living.
confusion that whether they will have parents or they won't be having parents directly coming from out from fire
yes,
sacrifice or.
yes, they won't have parents, or whoever did the yajna is their parent. Just like Drupada, right? He got Draupadi and Drishtadyumna from the fire sacrifice, and they became the parent. He became the parent of those two personalities. So when the
Okay.
king does these yajnas, not common people won't do these yajnas. King will do these yajnas, and the
Oh,
king would become the parent of this, person who has the soul who got the new human body.
okay. Is there any reference for this, Prabhuji?
What is difference? Meaning the difference of what?
Reference.
Reference for
Some
what?
more reference that uh, uh, by yajna, uh, when I mean whoever does the yajna, they will become the father for the uh, new soul.
So
I
the
mean the
thing
soul
is,
who
na
took.
Mataji, the thing is, we are thinking in today's term, father, mother, and all that. Okay, in the Vedic times, uh, if a child is brought right from a yajna or
Mm,
something,
mm,
whoever does the yajna becomes the natural father and mother of the child. See, there are
mm,
other things like, why Ganga is called Janva. Why Ganga is called Janva? Do you know?
no.
Because when she was
Because
coming from the heavenly planets, na, there was
Mm,
this sage on earth,
mm,
and Ganga passed in front of him or through his ashram. So
mm,
what he did was he drank it,
mm.
and the whole Ganga he drank it. And then again
Oh,
Bhagirathi had to plead him, and then again
mm,
he set Ganga out from his mouth or nose.
okay.
And because she came out from his body, she became the daughter of this sage also, and the sage name was Janva. So she became Janvi.
Oh,
mm,
Yeah. So Vedic times is very different. Like
okay.
like Hanuman. Hanuman is son of
yeah, Vayu, Vayu.
Vayu, but did Vayu actually give? No. Who was the father? Who was the husband of his mother?
So,
There was this king, right? His name was what I forgot.
not
Uh, Anjani Putra is Anjani's name of mother, right? Anjani's
mother.
name of
Yes,
mother, na?
yes, mother.
Yes.
So his
Anjana
father,
Devi.
his father name was I don't remember, but Vayu he he blessed his mother with his semen like that. So
A lot of
Vedic
things are
times it
back.
was like this. When the demigods used to provide children, right? They used to provide like this, and then the child would have a natural father, and the child would also have a father who is demigod. Both. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Like all the Pandavas also.
yeah. Pandavas also. All of them were called as Pandus, right? I mean,
Yes,
their father
Prabhuji.
was Pandav, but actually they came from the demigods.
Prabhuji, only
Different.
three
Yes,
of them.
Prabhuji.
Other two, Nakul and Sahadev, no, they came from the normal this thing.
No. They also
Huh?
came from the
They are called
brothers.
Panduputra only.
The
Madhavi.
demigods. There are two brothers who are demigods.
Ashwini
Ashwini Kumar.
Kumara?
Yeah, Ashwini Kumar.
Ashwini Kumaras, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So what happened is, I mean, yeah. So yeah. So they are also coming from demigods only. Okay. Okay. So we'll go back and we'll discuss animal killing. So animal killing is what? Animal killing is killing for meat,
Hmm.
and we are discussing animal killing in the Vedic times versus today's.
Hmm.
There's a huge difference. How many animals were killed in the Vedic times versus how many are killed today?
Hmm. Very few those days. Only five.
Yes. And today, in 1 hour, they are killing 10,000
10,000.
animals.
Mm.
And there are
And all
machines
varieties
which
of
kill the
animals
animals.
also,
There are
Prabhuji.
machines which kill the animals.
Mm.
Yes.
So the animal killing is like, terrible. It's like on a very factory scale.
Pathetic.
Factory scale, factory scale. Just like producing,
Large scale.
utensils factories are there. Now they produce mass scale. Similarly, they did it on industry, the animal killing. So that's why there are wars in today's world, and unnecessary people are getting killed because of animal killing karma. Okay. So yeah, they do horrible works which are meant to destroy the world. Climate change. Climate change is through religion or through man's industrial
Man's
pollution.
industrial.
Man's
Man's
industrial
efforts
pollution
only.
only, it is creating a problem. See, in religion also we throw flowers in the river, right?
Yes.
But 100 years of throwing chemical in the river has brought us to the brink of survivability, right?
Mm.
Yes.
And for millions of years we are throwing flowers in the river, dead bodies in the river. Nothing is happening.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But only 100 years of chemical in the air and in the water.
Mm.
We
Full
have
polluted.
destroyed rivers to such an extent that we don't want to live near rivers.
Fully
Previously,
polluted.
everyone used to live near the river to get clean water. But now we cannot even live near river. Why? It is polluted. It
Because
is dirty smell is coming from there. Mosquitoes and all. Who is responsible for that? Religion or industrial evolution?
complete industrial.
Industrial revolution.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in conceit of pride and false prestige, the demonic, thus illusioned, are always sown to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Insatiable lust. That means they just want to increase unsatiable desire. Like, it is that they won't be satisfied. They won't be satisfied. Um, okay, I will show you something. This is a cow.
Mm.
Now, in one of the country, I think Belgium, they eat cows, right? So they
Mm.
wanted to, have a cow which can give a lot of muscle so that they can
Mm.
eat it. So they bred, a number of cows in such a way that they get now only muscles out of
Mm.
that cow. So what they have done to the cow. You see, cow is has to be used to be a very calm animal, right? Look at
Yeah,
what they
yeah.
have done.
Mm.
So this is
Correct.
insatiable lust. Insatiable lust. It won't be satisfied with it. They will do a lot of horrible works and illusion. They have no knowledge and cannot tell where they are heading, that they are heading in the wrong way. They don't know that they are heading in the wrong way. They have no knowledge. They are full of anxieties because of accepting non-permanent things. There's so much anxiety, right? Even though we have advanced so much, but people lose job, thousands of them. Why? Because there is a lot of ugra karma or passionate activity going on. crypto Cryptocurrency. Have you heard about this cryptocurrency?
No,
People
Prabhuji.
lose
Yes,
money in
Prabhuji.
stocks.
Bitcoins and all.
Yeah, bitcoins and all. People lose money over there. Lot of money was lost. So full of anxiety. They create own god, own hymns. This we know, right?
Mm.
I, recently we see so many Kali avatars
Mm.
and people pay money for it. Engage in asuchi vrataha, unclean vows, sex enjoyment, accumulation of material wealth. Unclean means engaging in alcohol, women, gambling, meat eating. And they think
Prabhuji,
nothing.
how come they got accustomed to that meat eating and all?
See, when see in areas like cold areas where trees don't grow, and
Mm.
in winter for 2 months, 3 months, there is no vegetation.
Mm.
At that point, they have no option but to eat meat.
Mm.
You see, so yeah, like that. At places where there are no trees and all that, what to do? They'll eat meat. No?
They have to eat.
Antarctica, Arctic, Arctic region, Antarctica, no single tree. So then, if somebody is living over there, what to do? They'll eat meat, no?
Okay,
Fish
but
and meat.
they don't have anything. But other countries and all, they have no lot of things, vegetables,
Yes,
all those things. But why they should eat? Okay, in Arctic and Antarctic also, people are not there to survive. Also, they won't be able to survive.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's the point, right? That's the point. Even Prabhupada also makes
mm,
that right now. There are so many places where you don't actually don't require meat. Like in India, you
yes,
don't require at all.
yeah.
So much vegetables can be grown and such a way that still lot of people eat meat.
Mm.
Okay. Absorbed in conceit of pride and false history. This is practically seen as follows. They create some principles of religion which are not approved by Vedic injunctions. Okay, they create their own religion. By artificial means, the world creates a false honor for them. There are many followers that they fall prey to such things. And then they glide towards hell. So many so-called organizations, right? Spiritual organizations, they have come and gone and they have created all kinds of scam, right? So they all come here. False prestige and false pride. Just because I can speak some philosophy and confuse people, many people start their own spiritual society, so-called spiritual society, and confuse people. And they think, and people think that if we get confused, that is spirituality.
Mm.
Okay. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Our life is only meant to eat, marry, and enjoy. That's it. Eat, sleep, and enjoy. Thus, until the end of life, the anxiety is immeasurable. Bound by a network of hundreds and thousands of desires, absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification.
Mm.
We see, like in Bangalore, the some officers were caught, right? Government officers were caught, and they were, securing money. They put the money in the pipes, right? In
Mm.
buildings and all, like some there was one person who was caught, and he was working as a watchman or a clerk, and after working for 20, 20, 30 years in the government office, his his bank balance increased to few crores of rupees, and he got a land,
Mm.
and he opened up a what is that called, wine shop. So then
Mm.
income tax office came after him.
Mm.
How come you got this land? How come you got crores of rupees? How come, like that? So illegal means they're thinking only
Mm.
for enjoyment, and they know, okay, people also want to enjoy, so they will open wine shops. So many wine shops are there, right, in Bangalore.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
Prabhuji, every
Yes,
street
many
has one.
every
in
street
person
has it,
also.
right? Every street has
Every
it.
street has one wine shop.
Yeah.
Every dressing place, every
Hmm.
hook and corner, it is there.
Yeah. So the goal of life is sense gratification. Do not believe in life after death. Sign of karma. Plans of life are never finished. A dying man requests a physician to prolong his life for 4 years. So a lot of anxieties are there. Either I want to die, like I want to die carelessly, or I want to die, with the desires that I want to 4 more years. Like one actor recently he died, na. So he was having a heart attack, and his friend came, and he was still having the heart attack, and he said, what he said to that friend? He said, I don't want to die now. I don't want to die. But by the time they took him to hospital, he was already dead.
Mm.
So like that, secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. This we know, so many scams and all, they're just um, it's a business to become a politician, to become an IAS officer, and and then collect money in crores of rupees. Okay, we'll go a little faster. Okay, the demoniac thinks, so much wealth do I have today. Yeah, somebody can someone read this?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Shall I read?
Yeah.
The demonic person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give from charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
But at least he thinks about charity and
See, that charity also, he wants to make a show of it.
okay, okay.
Yeah, he wants to make a show of that charity. So in the 17th chapter, we will read, charities, or in the 18th chapter, we'll read charity is done in three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? In passion and ignorance, it's like I want name and fame. I want people to remember me that I gave so much. But in goodness, one is not interested in that. One is only interested in giving, and he gives to the right person also.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm? I am the controller, the enjoyer, indicates false ego which connects spirit to matter. I am perfect and powerful. This is what they are thinking. My enemies are defeated. I am happy. Self complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige. They sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only without following any rules and regulations. So, whatever sacrifice charity they're doing now, it's only for name. Hmm? Only to, make name and fame. But it is not some sincere effort. Like, Prabhupada is saying here, such demons take up the role of a preacher, mislead the people, and become known as religious reformers and as incarnations of God. They make a show of performing sacrifices and they worship the demigods or manufacture their own god. Right?
Mm.
They think that whatever path one creates is one own path. You don't need Shastra. They'll say you do what you think, right? What you think best, what is good for you, to keep doing it. 18. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, these demons become envious of the Supreme Lord, who is situated in their own bodies, in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. Perform religious activities in name only, avidhi purvakam. It disregards the rules and regulations of scriptures and always impudent. They take sannyas then without following the restrictions. And they say that sannyas to bhoga, sannyas to sex life, like that. One so-called spiritualist says this thing: sannyas to spiritual sex life, or through sex sannyas, something like that. And they call themselves religious reformers or incarnations of God. But it's all cheating, big cheating. They disbelieve in God. They preach whatever path one creates is one's own path. There is no standard path. They concoct their own God. Some preach that God is dead. Others say you are all God. So like that they say, and then they confuse people. He thinks himself independent and powerful in every action. He thinks that since no one is equal to him in strength, power, and wealth, he can act in any way and no one can stop him. He has an enemy who might, if he has an enemy who might check the advancement of his sensual activity, he makes plan to cut him down by his own power. We see, so many scams happen in this so-called spiritual organizations where some person is killed or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because their power and all that is thwarted, no? So they do all these things. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. So now Krishna says what he does with these people. Okay. Okay. Okay, can someone read?
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
In this verse, it is clearly indicated that placing of a particular individual soul in a particular body is the prerogative of the supreme will. The demonic person may not agree to accept the supremacy of the Lord, and it is a fact that he may act according to his own whims. But his next birth will depend upon the decision of the supreme personality of Godhead and not on himself.
Yeah.
In the
Wait,
Srimad
wait,
Bhagavad,
wait, wait.
yes,
So,
yes.
people think that we are born without anyone, any control, without a controller. But here Krishna says no. He decides where to put them, in what soul and in what body and all that, in what situation, depending on the karma of that soul, right? If Krishna says, I perpetually cast, meaning who is taking the decision? The Supreme Lord is
Krishna.
making the ultimate decision, right?
Krishna.
Yeah. So here is it is clearly indicated that we get our next bodies on the direction of the Supreme Lord, on the final order of the Supreme Lord, nothing independent. Okay, in the Srimad Bhagavatam third canto, read.
It is in the Srimad Bhagavatam third canto, it is said that an individual soul after his death is put into the womb of a mother where he gets a particular type of body under the supervision of superior power. Therefore, in the material existence, we find so many species of life animals, insects, men, and so on. All are arranged by the superior power. They are not accidental. As for the demoniac, it is clearly said here that they are perpetually put into the wombs of demons, and thus they continue to be envious, the lowest of mankind. Such demoniac species of men are held to be always full of lust, always violent and hateful, and always unclean. The many kind of hunters in the jungle are considered to belong to the demoniac species of life. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Attaining repeated birth among the species of demoniac life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. So in these births, they keep gliding down to ants and insects and amoeba and bacteria, but they never come to human form of life, right? Okay, let's read this purport also. Someone else?
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Okay, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. It is known that God is all merciful, but here we find that God is never merciful to the demoniac. It is clearly stated that as demonic people, life after life, are put into the wombs of similar demons and not achieving the mercy of the Supreme Lord. They go down and down so that at last they achieve bodies like those of cats, dogs, and hogs. It is clearly stated that such demons have practically no chance of receiving the mercy of God at any stage of later life. In the Vedas also it is stated that such persons gradually seem to become dogs and hogs. It may be then argued in this connection that God should not be authorized as all merciful if he is not merciful to such demons. In answer to this question, in the Vedanta Sutra, we find that the Supreme Lord has no hatred for anyone. The placing of the asuras, the demons, in the lowest status of life is simply another feature of his mercy. Sometimes the asuras are killed by the Supreme Lord but this killing is also good for them. For in Vedic literature, we find that anyone who is killed by the Supreme Lord becomes liberated. There are instances in history of many asuras, Ravana, Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu, to whom the Lord appeared in various incarnations just to kill them. Therefore, God's mercy is shown to the asuras if they are fortunate enough to be killed by him.
Yeah. So here Krishna is saying, I sink them down to the abominable types of existence. So Krishna is showing his anger, to this demoniac people, right? But then Krishna is all merciful. So if he's all merciful, how does that happen? So there are two answers to it. One is that he doesn't have hatred for anyone, because the asuras are not interested in acting dharmically. They're acting adharmically. So therefore, the Lord has to give the result of what they're acting, right? If somebody is doing crime, you cannot glorify it, right? You have to stop it. You have to punish it. So there, we cannot say that the government is not merciful. Okay. And second point is, uh, even though he casts them, he still gives them opportunity. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, when Krishna is showing his anger, right? His anger here is like anger of a parent. Parents also say, if you do something really bad, na, I will do something really bad to you. I will send you away. I'll send you away in the jungle. I will leave you. Don't the parents say such thing? They threaten their small
Yes.
children.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. They say
Yeah.
this hostels, this and this.
Yeah. So everyone on this call have heard that from their parents, and by being parent also, you have also done the same thing.
Yes.
Why? Because Krishna is doing the same thing. So how does Krishna is still merciful? If he says such thing and he does this thing, but still he is merciful. How?
When Krishna himself comes and kills the demon, he will get a.
Yes, that is one point. And second, say not everyone becomes like Ravana, Hiranyakamsa, and Hiranyakashipu. They can become little Ravana, little Kamsa, little Hiranyakashipu. Then what happens? Then who does he send?
He sends spiritual masters.
Yeah, he
So that
sends his devotees. And devotees are all merciful. Devotees are all merciful. They don't even look for qualification. Right? Even if he's not qualified, still they will give him bhakti. So that's how Krishna is merciful. He may send them, but then he will give them association also. His own association or his devotees' association.
But one doubt I have, Prabhuji,
Sure.
when we do something wrong, why can't Krishna tell that time itself that you are doing wrong, you will be punished for this? So that then and there we will rectify ourselves
How many children you have, Mataji?
to
You told them and did they rectify?
to some extent.
To some extent. So at least your children are good, no? But not with everyone that happens. Yeah, the answer is like
Yes,
that
Prabhuji.
because we have a independent will, and Krishna, we take him as a neutral person, as a Paramatma.
Mm.
See, we are not in so much love with Krishna. We like look at Krishna. Krishna, you are order supplier. Okay, I pray to God and you provide me. That's it.
Mm.
So sometimes children act like that, right? To parents,
Yeah.
they
Yes,
say only
Prabhuji.
you have to provide me. That's it. Give me my daily this thing, this need, that need, this need. You know?
Mm.
And then they are not listening to the parents and all that. So similarly, we are also not listening to Krishna. If we are listening now, then we will rectify. Okay.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, see, this whole bhakti is personal. We cannot force somebody to love someone, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing. Until it happens naturally, we are to expect all this rebellious nature only. Hmm? There are three gates leading to hell: lust, anger, greed. Every sane man should give up these, and for they lead to degradation of the soul. The beginning of demoniac life is described here. One tries to satisfy his lust, and when he cannot, anger and greed arises. A sane man who does not want to glide down to the species of demoniac life, must try to give up these three enemies, which can kill the self to such an extent that there will be no possibilities of liberation from this material entanglement. So, lust, greed, anger. Lust means I want it, I want it, I want it. And anger means when you're not getting, you get angry.
Angry.
And greed means you want to keep
Yes.
accumulating it. We should try to use all these three in Krishna's service. How to use lust in Krishna's service? How to use anger in Krishna's service? Let's start there.
Anger, in the sense I wanted to do this. I wanted
I'll
to
give you
learn.
example. Hanuman. Now you tell
I
me.
wanted to learn Bhagavatam.
No,
So
you don't
that
He
have to do it
burned.
with anger. You don't have to do it with
Bhagavad we
anger.
don't do
Okay.
when we are in anger mode.
No, no. Let's look from the perspective of Hanuman. How did Hanuman used anger in Krishna's service?
He burnt
He,
the
he
entire
burnt the
Lanka.
entire Lanka.
Entire Lanka.
Ha! And he gave trouble to Ravana.
mm,
So
Yeah.
those who are against Krishna consciousness, we stand firm against them. We defeat them, right? So we can use the anger against non-devotees who are disturbing us. Not that those who are not disturbing, we don't care, but those who are disturbing other devotees, we get angry on them.
angry.
Okay, how to use greed in Krishna service?
Greed for more service, Prabhuji. We want to do more.
Yes,
We want to serve
More
Krishna more
love.
and more.
yes, yes. Okay, good.
Taking sevas.
Yes, and lust.
Accepting them.
Last,
We want to give Krishna
yeah.
enjoyment, and we don't want any enjoyment for ourselves.
Mm,
When that feeling comes, then we are using.
little.
When we then that lust becomes love. Enjoyment for Krishna, no enjoyment for me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, the man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. Someone read this.
Nobody's reading.
Someone who has not read,
I'll read, Prabhuji.
Okay, go ahead.
One should be very careful of these three enemies of human life: lust, anger, and greed. The more a person is freed from lust, anger, greed, the more his existence becomes pure. Then he can follow the rules and regulations enjoined in the Vedic literature. By following the regulative principles of human life, one gradually raises himself to the platform of self realization. If
Spiritual.
one is so spiritual realization, if one is so fortunate by such practices to rise to the platform of Krishna consciousness, then success is guaranteed for him. In the Vedic literature, the ways of action and reaction are prescribed to enable one to come to the stage of purification. The whole method is based on giving up lust, anger, greed. By cultivating knowledge of this process, one can be elevated to the highest position of self realization. This self realization is performed in devotional service. In that devotional service, the liberation of the conditioned soul is guaranteed. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, there is instituted the four orders of life. There are instituted the four orders of life and the four statuses of life, called the caste system and the spiritual order system. There are different rules and regulations for different castes and different or divisions of society. And if a person is able to follow them, he will be automatically raised to the highest platform of spiritual realization. then he can have big liberation without doubt.
Okay. So what are the four orders of life and four status of life?
Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, and Shudras are the four castes. And orders are Brahmacharya, Grihastha,
That is the
Sannyasa.
status. I think
Okay,
order.
okay.
Okay,
Which
okay,
you
okay.
have
Yeah, right,
listed.
right, right. So yeah,
Varna, Ashram, Mano,
Varna
Prabhu, both
ashram
are.
system. Yeah, Varna ashram system. Okay. So by following the Varna ashram system, one slowly, gradually elevates from lust, greed, anger. See, lust, greed are mode of passion. Anger, anger is also passion. Okay, and more of it is done, and then it goes into ignorance. Right? When there is madness, then it is ignorance. When there is misery, it is passion. So when one follows the varnashram system, they slowly elevate themselves from lust, greed, and anger. All the enjoying tendencies and all that. Even if one wants to enjoy, then married life is there. Married life, then there are rules and regulations within married life, and that controls their enjoyment. Okay, and then after that there is vanaprastha and then sannyas. We have two verses. Let's try to finish up today. He who discards scriptural injunctions and act according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So now Krishna is going to talk about the scriptures, the Vedas. And he's saying that we should follow the Vedas. Otherwise, there will be no happiness, no supreme destination, neither perfection. As described before, the Shastra Vidya or direction of the Shastra is given in different castes and order of the human society. Everyone is expected to follow these rules and regulations. If one does not follow them and acts whimsically according to his lust, greed, and desire, then he will never be perfect in his life. In other words, a man may theoretically know all these things, but if he does not apply them in his own life, then he is known as lowest of mankind. In the human form of life, a living entity is expected to be sane and to follow the regulations given for elevating his life to the highest platform. But if he does not follow them, and then he degrades himself. But even if he follows the rules and regulation, moral principle, ultimately does not come to the stage of understanding the Supreme Lord, then all his knowledge becomes spoiled. Okay, so first thing is we need to follow the scriptures, and we need to come to the ultimate goal of doing devotional service to the Lord. Both things should be there. Otherwise, it is still considered spoiled or incomplete. Even if one accepts the existence of God, and if he does not engage himself in the service of God, then his attempts are spoiled. Therefore, one should gradually raise himself to the platform of Krishna consciousness and devotional service. It is then and there then he can attain the highest perfection, not otherwise. The word kama kartaha is very significant. A person who knowingly violates the rules acts in lust. So knowingly he knows that he should not do this thing, but if he acts still, then it is violating the rule, it's becoming criminal. He knows that it is forbidden, but he still acts. This is called acting whimsically. He knows that this should be done, but still he does not do it. Therefore, he is called whimsical. Such persons are destined to condemned by the Lord. Such persons cannot have the perfection which is meant for the human life. The human life is especially meant for purifying one's existence, and one who does not follow the rules and regulations cannot purify himself, nor can he attain the real stage of happiness. One should therefore understand what is duty, what is not duty by the regulations of scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. As stated in the 15th chapter, all rules and regulations of the Vedas are meant for knowing Krishna. We read this verse, right? Sarvasya chahamridai sannivishtamataha smritir jnanam apohanam cha Vedesya sarver aham vedyo. From the whole Vedas, who is to be known? Krishna is to be known. If one understands Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, becomes situated in Krishna consciousness, engages himself in devotion service, he can reach the highest perfection of knowledge offered by the Vedic literature. And Lord Chaitanya made this process very easily. What he did? He simply asked the people to chant Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Rama
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
and then to engage in devotional service of the Lord. Eat the remnants, eat prasadam. One who is directly engaged in all these devotional activities is to be understood as having studied all the Vedic literatures. We don't have to study other literatures because this is the conclusion. He has come to the conclusion perfectly. Of course, for ordinary person who are not in Krishna consciousness and who are not engaged in devotional service, what is to be done and what is not to be done must be decided by the injunctions of the Vedas. Ordinary people, they have to access the Vedas. Devotees, they are already doing the right things. They are following the four regulative principles and they're chanting Hare Krishna, right? One should act accordingly without argument. Now, this is a very interesting statement. Without argument. So, does this mean that we have to blindly follow the Vedas? See, this is modern man's problem. Without argument, listen and do this puja, do this vrata without argument. Don't talk. So, is
Simply
that?
follow.
Sorry.
Simply follow.
Yes, simply follow. So when we say this to our children, like they may not accept it, right? When they are babies, it's okay, but when they are teenagers, it's not okay. So
They'll
what is
ask
this?
many questions.
They
Why
They'll
ask
ask
many
so
questions.
many
So what?
questions
they'll
for
So
ask
which
if
we
you, if
don't
you tell
have
them simply
answers.
follow without argument, then
they'll say why we should follow.
yeah. So is that what Prabhupada mentioning here?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes. Is that what Prabhupada is mentioning here?
One can ask valid questions, but invalid questions which doesn't make sense.
Yes.
There is
Okay.
no point
Good
in
point.
asking them.
Good point. तत्विद्धि
Not like that.
प्राणिप्रातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया
Right.
Yeah.
उपदेशयन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनः तत्त्वदर्शिनः. Um, learn from those who have seen the truth. There's a verse, I think 4.34, but let's see. Tत्विद्धि प्राणिपातेन
Pranipatena.
Yes, 4.34 Prabhuji.
44.
4.34.
तद्विद्धि
Okay.
तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेशयन्ति ते ज्ञानं
ज्ञानिनः तत्त्वदर्शिनः.
तत्त्वदर्शिनः.
So there is where Prabhupada is telling how to ask questions. 4.34. Okay. Um, okay. One should serve the spiritual master like menial servant without false prestige. They should not be proud of, oh, I'm very big person and this teacher is very small person. Not like that. Satisfaction of the realized spiritual master is a secret in spiritual advancement. Just let me find, there's particular word Prabhupada used. Yeah. Okay. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries in the learned master will not be effective. Okay, sorry, it was here only. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master, and when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. So, this is what it means. Don't do blind following, but don't ask stupid questions also. Not only one should hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one should get a clear understanding from him. So we should try to give clear understanding to our children. And if we don't have clear understanding, we should get that clear understanding from the spiritual master and give it to our children. That is called kindness. Okay? So this is what Prabhupada is mentioning. To be kind and so without argument, meaning no dry argument or no stupid argument. Okay? That is called the following principles of Shastra or scriptures. Shastra is without the four principal defects. So why to follow Shastra? Because it is free of defects. What are the defects? Cheating, committing mistakes, then to first the imperfect senses. Then you commit mistakes. To cover those mistakes, you cheat, and then you will get illusion. You get fooled by it. These four principles are not there in the Vedic Shastras. It is free from
Mm.
defect. Why? Because it came from Krishna,
Mm.
and Krishna is without defect. So whatever comes out of Krishna also comes without defect, and we have to accept it without alteration. This is important. In India, there are many parties of spiritual understanding, generally classified as two things, like impersonalist, personalist. Both of them, however, lead their lives according to the principles of Vedas. Those say who God is impersonal, he doesn't have form, and personalist says Krishna has form. They both follow the Vedas. Without following the principle of the scriptures, one cannot elevate himself to the perfection stage. One who actually therefore understands the purport of the Shastra is considered fortunate. The human society aversion to the principle of understanding the Supreme Person of Godhead is the cause of all fall downs. That is the greatest offense of human life. Therefore, Maya, the material energy of the Supreme Person of Godhead, is always giving us trouble in the shape of the threefold miseries. This material energy is constituted of the three modes of the material nature. One has to raise himself at least to the mode of goodness before the path of understanding the Supreme can be opened. Without raising oneself to the standard of mode of goodness, one remains in ignorance and passion, which are the causes of demonic life. Those in the mode of passion and ignorance derides scriptures, derides the holy man, derides proper understanding of the Supreme Personality. They disobey the instructions of the spiritual master, and they do not care for the regulations of the scriptures. In spite of hearing the glories of devotional service, they are not attracted. Thus, they manufacture their own way of elevation. These are some of the defects of human society which lead to the demonic status of life. If, however, one is able to be guided by a proper and bona fide spiritual master who can lead one to the path of elevation to the higher stage, then one's life becomes successful. So we should follow the scriptures under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. This is the conclusion. Okay? Any question or comment?
Prabhuji, here personalists and impersonalists are mentioned, no, in this shloka. I mean, like in the current scene, who are impersonalists, Prabhuji? Which organizations say that God's form is not there?
So there are two kinds of impersonalists. One is they have no idea about God's form, and their realization is that God is Brahman. He is the supreme Brahman, which is the spiritual sky. That's it. So those impersonalists are true in that understanding because they are not denying God's form, and they are accepting till the realization that they have reached. And the second class of impersonalists are the Mayavadis, which say that God has no form and you can also become
They
God.
will.
Nirgun, no, Prabhuji?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Nirgun.
So when they say Nirgun, Nirakar, it means that he doesn't have material form, he doesn't have material qualities. So
Spiritual.
so yeah, so impersonalist two classes. One is the true impersonalist. They don't, they have no understanding of personalist. Okay, they only have understanding of Brahman. So this is a very small class. But most of these impersonalists they turn into Mayavadis, where they say that Krishna is doesn't have form, no body, and all that. So whoever thinks about this Brahman, right? They are Mayavadis mostly. 99%. Only very few will be impersonalist. Otherwise, all of them are Mayavadis actually. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
See, we should, if we come across these organizations, we should ask, so what is your concept of impersonalism? What is your concept of, you know, ultimate absolute truth? And they may say, okay, absolute truth is the spiritual Brahman, spiritual sky. It's okay. Then if you are, then they may deride Krishna. They may say, okay, Krishna is, I mean, the spiritual sky. There is nothing beyond it, and the absolute truth. He comes down in this world, and he takes the Maya form. So then we should understand it is Mayavadi. When they start giving the
Okay.
more explanations, so that time we need not stand over there and we can just leave. Okay. We should not
Thank
hear
you,
because
Prabhuji.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
Thank
said
you.
Mayavadi shunya hoi vinash sarvatra vinash, so it will be destruction if one hears that philosophy.
Okay.
Okay, any other question, comment?
Prabhuji, how to get rid of this demoniac qualities, because most of these qualities are commonly present. So, how to get rid of these qualities, Prabhuji?
See, the answer is not something new. The answer is always the same. Under
Devotional
the
service.
guidance of a proper bona fide spiritual master, practice the process of devotional service, starting with chanting the holy name of the Lord. And then by gradual practice over the years, one will get successful and one will be able to overcome these,
Demonic nature.
yes, demonic qualities. So the answer will always remain the same. This one line, you will see Prabhupada has repeated that in all over Bhagavad Gita. So what remains is our own endeavor to seek a bona fide spiritual master and to follow the instruction that the bona fide spiritual master has given. So that is what is remaining now.
Okay.
Any other question? Okay. So no questions. So let's stop.